is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Sun.
For the second consecutive night, Tampa Bay dropped a heartbreaker. Friday night, Coco Crisp ended a 13-inning pitcher's duel with a walk-off single. Last night, Jake Smolinski's two-run home run tied the game in the bottom of the ninth, before Ryan Healy sent the A's faithful home happy. Today, rookie left-hander Blake Snell takes the hill, coming off the best outing of his career, looking to lead the Rays to a series split. A little Sunday afternoon baseball from the West Coast as the Rays take on the Oakland Athletics to wrap up this four-game series. A couple of disappointing losses the last two nights. The beauty of the game, though, of baseball is you play a game every day and sometimes a day game after a night game after a difficult loss. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Todd Callis alongside Brian Anderson. The Rays wrap up this series with Oakland. Off day tomorrow. Dodgers for 2 in L.A. after that. But B.A., today the Rays are looking for a split, and they'll have a young left-hander on the mound who seems to be getting better with every start.
You know, I was just going to talk about that. The fact that his progress, watching him progress here with the Rays has been an awful lot of fun, culminating in his last outing. Is this a coming-of-age start for Blake Snell? Because you go into Coors Field where no pitcher wants to pitch, and you throw up a line like that. 6 strong innings, 9 punch-outs, just 1 hit and no runs. As impressive a performance that you're going to see in that building from anybody, let alone a rookie after a handful of starts. So he'll look to continue that today, and he did that without much benefit of the curveball. It's a pitch he kind of kept in his pocket, so you'll see more of the curveball today and hopefully another outing like that.
So Snell gets the ball for the Rays. He'll be opposed by a former Rays minor leaguer. Jesse Hahn will have all the action from Oakland in less than 3 minutes on Fox Sports Sun. We're ready for a little baseball from the West Coast. The Rays carry a 3-3 record on this road trip into today's game. Difficult loss last night with a 3-1 lead, slipping away with a 3-run ninth inning from the Oakland A's. But the Rays will try and regroup with Blake Snell on the mound, and offensively for Kevin Cash, here's how it looks, presented by your Southern Ford dealers. Logan Forsythe back in the leadoff spot. Brad Miller, one of the few Rays who have faced Jesse Hahn before, bats second. Evan Longoria hits third. Corey Dickerson in the cleanup spot. Steve Pearce, number 5. Oswaldo Arcia back from that injury yesterday in DHing. Steven Souza Jr. in right field. Kevin Kiermaier, the center fielder. Luke Smaley behind the plate.
Well, and they'll be going up against former Ray farmhand Jesse Hahn, making his 8th start of the season here for Oakland. This is his 3rd stint with the team. He has been back and forth a number of times, and these are the overall numbers. 2-4 record, 6.49 earned run average. You can see 15 walks in 34 2/3 innings, along just 16 strikeouts. Take a look at that Oakland defense, see how it's going to line up behind him here this afternoon. Brought to you by Gold and Diamond Source. And in the outfield left to right, we have Chris Davis, Jake Smolinski, and Danny Valencia. Across the infield third to first, Ryan Healy, Marcus Simeon, Jed Lowry, and Yonder Alonso, with Bruce Maxwell behind the plate.
There's a look at Bob Melvin, getting ready for this afternoon's game. He has seen his team jump out to a 6-3 mark coming out of the All-Star break. 3 of those in the last 5 days have been via the walk-off base hit. And we are underway with a first pitch strike from the right-hander Jesse Hahn.
First pitch, 107.
Beautiful day here today in Oakland. It's been an unbelievable 4 days for the Rays here in the San Francisco-Oakland Bay Area. Pitch is a little outside and away. It's 1-1. Hahn is 26 years old. He'll turn 27 next weekend. As BA mentioned, former Rays minor leaguer, involved with a trade to the San Diego Padres along with Alex Torres, as Forsythe sends one to second. That's where Jed Lowry makes the play, and that's the first out of this game.
And Jesse Hahn is going to try and follow the blueprint put forth by Kendall Graveman last night. He was so good hitting the ball down in the zone, getting a lot of ground balls, something that Jesse Hahn is capable of doing. He gets hurt when that fastball starts to elevate and flattens out just a little bit. We can see already good velocity, and when he keeps it down, he will eat up the infielders.
They really thought, the A's did, that Hahn was going to make the team out of spring training, but he struggled. Now making his 3rd stint with the A's, getting what could be a spot start depending on Rich Hill's status. You can see the trade that sent him from the Rays to the Padres. That involved Logan Forsythe coming back, Brad Boxberger, Matt Andriese. And then the Padres would eventually trade Jesse Hahn to the Oakland Athletics, a trade that sent Derek Norris to the Padres.
You know, and that's why you always sit back and wait on trades. Because at the time, Alex Torres, you were talking about selling high. Alex Torres tore it up coming out of that Rays bullpen. Logan Forsythe got off to a slow start with the Rays. You weren't sure what you were going to get with Brad Boxberger. Matt Andriese had yet to burst on the scene. A couple years later, how's it looking now?
Yeah, Boxberger an all-star.
That's right.
Forsythe team MVP.
Yes.
Andriese looking like he's about to shine at this level.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite the haul the Rays got a couple of years later.
By the way, some updated news on Brad Boxberger. He will pitch again for the Charlotte Stonecrabs on the road in Jupiter on Tuesday. Then they're going to have to go back-to-back Tuesday, Wednesday. So we may see Boxberger when the Rays return on the next homestand. At least that's the anticipation as of now. 2-2 to Brad Miller, hit into the air in right field. Danny Valencia's 2nd start of his career in right, and he makes the first play. And there's 2 away.
And that's another pitch right there to keep an eye on from Jesse Hahn, the 12-6 curveball. That is his best off-speed pitch.
Third baseman, number 3, Evan.
You see it right here. That ball kind of dropping in, didn't have the right kind of bite. And Brad Miller, on another day, maybe takes that ball out of the ballpark. That pitch broke right down into his swing.
And here's Evan Longoria. 2 outs, nobody on. Longo swings the first pitch, chops it to the middle. Lowry to his right, makes the play. And the young right-hander with a 1-2-3 first. We head to the bottom half. Diamondbacks coming to the plate. Rays failed to score in the top half. Here's a look at your A's lineup presented by your Southern Ford dealers. Jed Lowry leading things off. Switch hitter batting right-handed. Jake Smolinski in center field. Danny Valencia in right. Chris Davis, the left fielder. Billy Butler is the DH. Ryan Healy. What a star he's been early on in his career at third base. Marcus Semien at short. Yonder Alonso, a late addition to this lineup at first base. And then Bruce Maxwell rounds it out.
Well, and Blake Snell trying to back up his last outing. We talked about it in the open. 6 innings of scoreless baseball at Coors Field on just 1 hit and 9 strikeouts, contributing to his season numbers.
And the first pitch misses down and in to Jed Lowry, 1-0. Lowry leading off for the 5th time this season. He is 6 for 16 as a leadoff hitter. Coco Crisp was in the original lineup, and he was scratched due to a sore neck. Yonder Alonso moved into the lineup, and others shifted into different places, including Lowry moving up to the leadoff spot. 2-0 early from Blake Snell.
You know, and Coco Crisp with that sore neck could have come from the double pie he got last night from Josh Reddick to the face.
Reddick's back, not healthy enough to play, but his form on the double pie shaving cream celebration is pretty strong.
There was a jump and a twist. And so Josh Reddick, yeah, the back can't play. That looks like he could probably play. And right there, Coco Crisp, or actually that's not even Coco Crisp. I guess it was the night before. Whatever. It was the night before. Maybe it's a delayed deal.
But Reddick looked good on the double pie to the face. Back looked good.
If Bob Melvin sees that, he says, oh, why aren't you playing again? Why did I have to take you out of the lineup and you can do that?
Different muscles used for baseball than the celebration. 3-1 the count. Lowry sends one to left field, and coming in on it, looking into the high sky.
I was going to say, whoever got that pie didn't look like Coco Crisp.
Right, Healy. Here's Coco.
Yeah, it was the night before, and he gets destroyed.
Solid neck, though.
Center
the neck
fielder,
stayed.
Reddick again.
Jake Smolinski.
So you talk about Sundays in Oakland, and we saw Dickerson not have any issues with that first fly ball, but that can be an issue with this guy, right?
Well, again, it goes back to the high sky, and now you involve the sun the entire game,
right.
Not just the first part of the game like last night. So you got the sun directly above you, not a cloud in the sky. Keep your eye on the ball.
It is definitely a beautiful scene, but for outfielders, it can be a difficult place to play day baseball.
Yep. And the glasses are going to come in handy. Concentration is going to come in handy, and getting good jumps and taking good routes.
1 out. Snell ahead of Smolinski, 0-1, but Jake Smolinski continues his hot hitting with a line drive into the corner and left. He's now 10 for his last 21, and he has a 1-out double for the A's.
Yeah, he did a good job of lengthening the swing there and getting around that baseball to get it down into the corner.
Batting in the 3rd position.
Able to get out there, good plate coverage. A pitch, a lot of times you don't want to see a hitter try to pull a pitch on the outer 3rd like that. And Jake Smolinski, very strong, got that ball down to the corner with authority.
We mentioned at the beginning of this series, they are giving extended looks here to Jake Smolinski and Ryan Healy. Basically, since the All-Star break and probably going forward. Danny Valencia trying to find his way into the lineup. He's in there tonight, or this afternoon, I should say, in right field. That's not a typical spot for him. Danny Valencia in our Buick GMC big matchup has 5 home runs in 6 games against the Rays. No Oakland Athletic hitter has ever hit 6 home runs in 1 season against Tampa Bay. Pitch misses in, and it's 2-0. So Snell started out 3-1 on the leadoff hitter. First pitch strike to Smolinski before the double. Now he's 2-0 on Valencia.
Yeah, just trying to settle in with the fastball. You know, we watched him warm up, looked very good down in the bullpen with the fastball command. A little sketchy here at the beginning, but
fouled back. I was curious to see, we talked about his lack of usage of the curveball because of the thin air in Colorado. I was curious to see if he would go to that slider against right-handers a little more, because he hadn't up until his last start, and then he threw a couple down and in to Nolan Arenado, and he said those were my favorite at-bats of the game.
Yep.
And
it's a new toy.
Yeah. it's something we hadn't really seen prior to that start. So I'm curious to see how he incorporates that this afternoon. Late swing there, it's 2-2.
Well, you fall behind 2-0, you come with that slider, 83 miles an hour, then you come elevated 10 miles an hour faster. Valencia's late, but you're right. That slider could become an absolute weapon, especially because of his height and release point. Driving that slider down and in.
Try to get him to chase. He holds up. It's 3-2.
You start to envision Blake Snell putting it all together. The fastball up, down. The slider down and away to the lefty, down and into the righty. The slow curveball that you can drop in there, 12-6 with great depth, and then a changeup. Sky is the limit.
Yeah, this is going to be fun watching the development of the left-hander out of Washington State, Blake Snell. He is going to be a joy to watch. But right there, Danny Valencia singles in the right. They're going to hold up the runner. The throw comes in from Steven Souza, cut off by Pierce. And the A's have runners on first and third with 1 out. Already more hits allowed by Snell in this game after 3 batters in the entire game against the Rockies.
You know, that's the beauty and sometimes the frustrating part of baseball. Coors Field, 1 hit through 6 innings. He's given up 2 hits through 6 minutes here. Souza Jr. gets to this and gets it in quick. Smart too, hit the cutoff man. Keep the runner at third. See just that little bit of hesitation. Not sure. That's where, if you're out on second base as a base runner, you've got to know where those infielders are. And if you know where they are, that ball off the bat you know is not going to be caught. There's no hesitation, and maybe you score. Going to take a peek around.
Chris Davis, the hitter, takes one inside for a ball, 1-0. Davis drew a walk last night in the bottom half of the 9th inning on 4 pitches from Alex Colomé. That was only his 13th walk of the season. He has 10 more home runs than he does walks. That was ultimately the undoing of Colomé. A couple of home runs later, he suffered his first blown save of the season. There is a breaking ball for a called strike.
Yeah, and that's the slider. That's a strike slider. You know, he's got that slider. He's got the one that he'll try to bury back foot, and then you've got that curveball in the mid upper 70s.
This is a rare game where you've got 2 young pitchers, both who feature that big looping 12-6 curveball. You don't see that as much. One pitch fouled away. It's 1-2.
There it was. He backed up that slider with the curveball at 77. It's, you know, the curveball, when they're that big, it's tough to command that pitch, especially when you're young. You know, the spin rate, the velocity in which you throw it. The release point has to be consistent. And so, you know, it's easier to just have the fastball and the slider off of the fastball, and that's where you see a lot of guys go.
Well, Blake could use a strikeout here or a double play ground ball, but he's ahead of the count 1-2 on Davis. Tried to entice Danny Valencia on a couple of fastballs up. See how he attacks Chris Davis here ahead of the count. Down and in, 2-2. Davis, a lot of power, 23 home runs, 62 RBIs, leads the team. Coming off a year where he set his career high in home runs with the Brewers last year. In the air to left center field. That is going to find some open grass. Base hit past Dickerson. Kiermaier cuts it off and gets it back in. And the A's have runners on second and third in a 1-0 lead on RBI 63 of the season for Chris Davis.
You know, that ball off the bat, you knew there was going to be some hang time, hoping that someone could get to it. And Kiermaier really ends up saving the day, because how that ball got by Corey Dickerson, I'm not real sure. But if Kiermaier is not hustling to back that up, more than 1 run is going to score. You see it here just kind of floating. And Corey Dickerson just completely misplayed that. A shallow angle. I don't know if he lost sight of it, but it gets by him. Thankfully, Kiermaier is there and got it back in quickly, or the A's would have had another run on the board.
But if Dickerson cuts it off, the runner stays at first.
Yeah, absolutely he does.
It looked like he expected that ball to almost check up the way his angle was, and then it bounced past him.
You know, he took a shallow angle on a line drive in Coors Field that just completely went right by him. And you see him here, going to cut it off, and now has no chance. I just don't know what happened there, but thankfully Kiermaier was backing it up.
Well, it takes the double play out of the equation, and now the infield back. The Rays will concede a run on a ground out here with one out. Instead, it's a line drive to right field for a base hit. One run in, Davis being held. Souza's throw comes all the way to home. It is 2-0 A's early, 4 consecutive hits. Billy Butler with the RBI base hit to make it 2-0.
Well, they're doing a good job here against Blake Snell. This was a curveball that stayed up, and it was up and away. Billy Butler gets a really good look at that pitch and then just pokes it out there into right field. Souza Jr. able to cut it off, keep it from the corner. But Oakland right now, sights set on Blake Snell. And
one hit allowed in 6 innings of work in Colorado, and now 4 hitters in a row with a base hit.
Against an offense that has scored, 8 runs in the last 4 games? I mean, they have really been struggling offensively. Baseball is a funny game. It is a funny game, and you've got to come ready every single appearance, every single day. Let's take a quick look at that Rays defense and set that for you here. Brought to you by Gold and Diamond Source. And in that outfield, left to right, Dickerson, Kiermaier, Souza Jr., and across the infield, third to first, Longoria, Miller, Forsythe, and Pierce with Luke Maile behind the plate.
Jim Hickey likes to have a positive message whenever he's on the mound talking to his pitcher, and often he says we're going to get a double play ground ball right here in a spot where you really need one. The Rays could use a double play in the worst way. First and third, 1 out still, and the A's with a 2-0 lead early in this game. Oakland already 3 for 3 with runners in scoring position today. After starting the series 3 for 15. There's a called strike, 1-1. Ryan Healy, BA, has been impressive.
Yeah.
Watching him for the first time in this series.
Yep. Quick stroke, powerful stroke. And that ball right there, an absolute no-doubter. You know, that was in that bat too, where Colomé was in complete control, 0-2. Worked it back to 3-2, got a pitch out over the plate and ended it.
In the air, shallow right field. Souza coming on. They cannot tag because Souza was too close to the infield. Steven flips it back in, and that's a nice out right there for Blake Snell.
Just as good as a strikeout. You needed to get an out without base runners advancing. However you do that, soft fly ball to right, you'll take it, retire the hitter here, and get out of this inning.
The hitter is Marcus Semien. Semien had the night off on Fridays, his first game of the season and only game of the season where he hasn't started. Did come in eventually in that game after 8 innings. Takes a fastball up and in, 1-0. Semien battling an 0 for 14 right now. Back at Snell off his glove. He regroups and throws Semien out. That was a little scary, but Blake Snell got the glove up in time, and that does it for the A's. But Oakland scores 2 on 4 consecutive hits, and the A's lead 2-0 after 1. to bat in the top half of the second against the rookie right-hander, actually in his second year right-hander, Jesse Hahn. There's the rookie left-hander, Blake Snell, who gave up those 2 runs on 4 hits in the first inning. Hahn made his A's debut last year in 16 starts, his major league debut with the Padres back in 2014. Now trying to establish himself in the rotation for the A's in 2016. Has been back and forth between the minor leagues and the big leagues. Feels like he sorted some things out on his last trip down to Nashville. 0-1 pitch is a fastball inside. It's 1-1.
Well, those last 2 starts that he had with the A's, it was June the 3rd, June the 8th. 2/3 of an inning, 7 earned runs in Houston. Next start 5 days later, 3 2/3, 4 earned runs in Milwaukee against the Brewers. So he went back to Nashville and, like you said, made progress, threw the ball well enough to get recalled once again. You can see that he's got the stuff. Mid-90s fastball. He's got that good big curveball, you know, a changeup. It's all about getting those pitches to the spots that you want them. And that's going to be true for any pitcher that takes them out at this level.
There is that curveball set into right center field. Pretty well hit all the way back to the wall. Leaping, Smolinski can't get it. Dickerson with a stand-up double as that ball really carried to right center field.
And I'll tell you what, Corey Dickerson was not fooled at all on that curveball. And that wasn't a bad curveball. We know Corey Dickerson likes the ball down in the zone. But this ball comes out. Look at him. He's right on that pitch.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, that's it's almost like he recognized it out of the hand. When you're timing and everything is that.
Strikes.
Yes, is that. And I know it's down and in, and he likes the ball down. But the body told you, I am all over this. I'm either guessing right, or I'm recognizing that pitch as it leaves the hand.
He's one of the few Rays who have seen Hahn, having been in the National League. He's now 3 for 5 against Jesse with a double and a home run after that last double. That ball initially looked like it would be a deep fly ball, and sometimes in the afternoon here, the ball will carry more than it does at night.
Well, and he hit it to the part of the wall that's a little bit taller than it is out in center field. Right center to the line, out in left center, plays a little higher.
Now Pierce ahead of the count, 2-0. The guys who have faced Hahn before in the Rays lineup, Brad Miller now 0 for 7 against him. Dickerson, who's now 3 for 5 with a double and a home run. And then the guy on deck, Oswaldo Arcia, a couple of at-bats against Hahn. The rest of the lineup seeing him for the first time. Pierce ahead, 2-0. There's a called strike, 2-1. Hahn grew up in the Connecticut area, Groton, Connecticut, where he was a high school basketball and baseball teammate of the Mets' Matt Harvey at Fitch High School. Hahn had to wait a little while to get to the big leagues after having Tommy John surgery after college. 2-1, big breaking ball, and that is a beauty, 2-2.
Yeah, when you can come with that pitch behind in the count and use it in this fashion. See right there, Steve Pierce just locked up a little bit. That's the difference, and that's what that curveball will do if you haven't seen it before.
Big, slow, from the opposite side, like Snell, 12-6 curveball. There it is again, and Pierce no chance. Strikeout number 1 for Hahn, 1 out here in the second.
The way that he used him, the 2-1, a strike curveball in the zone, saw the reaction of Steve Pierce, didn't recognize it real well, and then all of a sudden you come back with the one that you start in the zone and take it out, bottom it out, and pick up the strikeout. That was great usage right there by Jesse Hahn. Right off of the previous curve, look how long that's in the zone, and then it is gone.
The battery made today with Maxwell behind the plate. They've worked together a lot this year because Hahn has been at AAA where Maxwell has spent his season. So 1 out, Dickerson still on second. Here's Arcia. Oswaldo fouls 1 back. Did not look very good last night in his final swing, left the game.
Final 2 swings.
The final 2 swings against the changeup of Kendall Graveman. But good to see him back in the lineup today.
Yeah, and there it was. you see that wince and you're worried about that elbow, but a day game after a night game, and he's right back in the lineup. So obviously not too bad.
He was a big part of the Rays jumping out in that game. 2-1 after trailing 1-0. Arcia with a single and a double his first 2 at bats yesterday against Graveman. But down in the count, 0-2. Called third strike. Arcia does not think that's a strike, but he's out after 3 pitches. Second strikeout in a row for Hahn.
That must have been verbalized by Andy Fletcher before he rung him up, because you could see Arcia jump. Yeah, and that's his reaction to Fletcher calling that pitch, and I thought the same thing. This was too far up.
20, Steven Souza.
But boy, oh boy, with these 2 pitchers, if you're going to get that pitch, wow, could be a long day for the offense, because that's a pitch it's going to be difficult to get to at the velocity that they throw.
See if Souza can snap an 0 for 12 here and give the Rays a 2-out RBI. Takes a pitch a little bit inside, 1-0. Souza getting the start in right field. Had the night off as a starter last night, but came on after Arcia left the game in the 7th inning. On the ground, just foul down the line. And the count's 1-1. When the Rays drafted Jesse Hahn, coming out of Virginia Tech in the 2010 draft, they got him in the 6th round. No chance they would have had him in the 6th round, except for the fact that 2 days before the draft, his final start with the Hokies at Virginia Tech, he tore his UCL, ulnar collateral ligament, and ended up having to have Tommy John surgery. The Rays decided to take a chance on him, knowing it would be a slow process coming back, and it was. But when they traded him to San Diego, he had started to work his way back, and they thought highly of him. He was a big piece of that trade along with Torres.
But when you look to see what the Rays got out of that trade, yeah, you're going to have to add on to Alex Torres, as good as he was at the time. And so, yeah, you get this young starter here, but I'll tell you, how unfortunate. Your last start, the draft is in 2 days. You can't wait. You're a first rounder. You're a high first rounder. And then it goes.
Difficult time of his life, and he has made it back to the big leagues. Tried to hold up, Souza went around, and Hahn ends up striking out the side, getting 3 in a row there after a leadoff double by Corey Dickerson. 2-0 A's. Rays, Blake Snell on for his second inning of work, and our Toyota keys to success. We will see why Blake Snell has had a lot more success in his last 2 starts, 12 innings of 2-run baseball. He's been getting more chases outside the zone. He's been throwing more first pitch strikes. And a lot of those swings are resulting in no contact for Blake Snell.
You know, Johnny O worked way too hard on that graphic to have it already gone.
Well, we could show it again.
Okay.
We'd like to see it again. There was too much there for you.
And I was working my way through those numbers.
Well, we can put it up. I don't want to produce, but we can put it up again, I think. There you go.
There you go. I like the first pitch strike percentage approaching 70.
Yeah.
Swing and miss is good. It's all good.
There you go.
There you go. Good job, Johnny.
That's our keys to success, brought to you by Toyota. Yonder Alonso is the batter. Sends one back to Snell off his glove, but Longoria bare hands and makes the play. Snell thought when it hit off his glove he had no chance, but he forgot he had a Gold Glover behind him for the first out.
And Yonder Alonso running up the first baseline. Nice combination to have working in your favor right there.
So there you go. 1 out, nobody on. Here's another look. Snell's like, oh no. Oh wait, Longoria's there. We're good.
Swooping in to save the day.
Here's Bruce Maxwell making his first major league start. Came on as a pinch hitter in last night's game. Stephen Vogt has a family medical situation and is on leave now. So they called up Maxwell, who was just absolutely crushing it with the Nashville Sounds. But gets his first major league start. Left-hand hitter against the lefty Blake Snell with a 1-1 count. Interesting story with Maxwell. He's a kid who was born in Germany. His dad was stationed there in the Army. His dad on hand to watch his debut last night and back again today for his first start. But he is part of the German baseball team that's trying to make it to the World Baseball Classic in 2017. Really worked his way through the minor leagues to get to this point. For his first big league start, Bob Melvin is a big fan of how hard this kid has worked. 2-2 the count. There you see the 25-year-old. Finished up 18 for 28. That was his run before the call-up. In the air to right field, Souza with the second out.
Yeah, and you know, how in the world do you get to that curveball? Breaking ball well down in the zone. Bruce Maxwell goes right down to get it. Look at that. I know. I mean, the depth on that pitch. You think about the swing that Corey Dickerson put on Jesse Hahn. Yeah, that's a guy that was 18 for 28 before he got called up. Seeing the ball well. Fortunately, that line drive is right at Souza Jr.
So 2 outs, nobody on. Here's the leadoff hitter, Jed Lowry. We thought when we saw Nick Franklin switch from the double ear flaps to the single flap that we weren't going to see that double ear flap very often. Thankfully, Jed Lowry has restored our faith in the double.
Yeah, and I'm a big fan. I think it's a great look. Maybe a face mask.
Called strike, 0-2. We're seeing Snell pound the zone this inning a little bit better. I think it took him a little while to get comfortable on the mound here. I think in the first inning, we're seeing a little more consistency this inning. Even when he retired Lowry, it was on a 3-1 pitch, then double, single, and the A's jumped out 2-0 on him.
It just goes to show you that coming out of that bullpen, you had better be ready to answer the bell. Don't fall into that pattern of first inning struggles. We've seen that with Chris Archer for the better part of this entire season. Has struggled mightily in the first inning. You put yourself in a hole, the team in a hole, and then you've got to be virtually perfect the rest of the game, you know, to have a nice outing and to get deep.
We have seen the rotation now go the entire cycle of quality starts for the first time this year.
Hard to believe. I mean, hard to believe as much talent is on that starting rotation that it would be end of July before we saw that.
Snell gets Lowry chasing a pitch in the dirt, and he has a smooth 1-2-3 inning, 5 in a row retired by Blake. Rays as we head to the third. Get a Rays backpack presented by Sagicor Life Insurance Company. All kids 14 and under will receive the backpack while supplies last when they attend the Rays game versus the Yankees on Sunday, July 31st. Call 888-FAN-RAYS or visit RaysBaseball.com today. Rays up. Kevin Kiermaier sends the first pitch of the third into center field, shy of the warning track. And that is put away by Jake Smolinski, and there's one out here in inning 3. Jesse Hahn, impressive early as he has retired 7 of the first 8 batters he has faced. Now he'll take on a former teammate, Luke Maile. Maile was his catcher when they were together with the Hudson Valley Renegades in the New York Penn League. In fact, Hahn was teammates with both Maile and the Rays' other catcher, Curt Casali. Hahn and Casali were together with the Charlotte Stone Crabs. That was the year Hahn made the Florida State League All-Star game without a victory. No wins, named to the All-Star team. That's how good he was with the Rays limiting his innings as a starter. 3 innings here, 4 innings there, never went 5. But he was so good that as a starting pitcher, you're an all-star with Curt Casali catching you without a win. And then eventually, in the second half, they let him go 5 innings and more beyond that.
Our starter? They let him go all 5?
Yeah. Wow. Well, he's coming back from Tommy John, so got to be careful.
That's where communication is key. You know, because as a starter, a competitor, you want to be out there for, you know, as deep as you can go, but you set up that plan. And that's the one thing that you know about the Rays when they have a plan with a pitcher, any type of position, anybody really, injuries. So good at rehabbing injuries, doing it the right way, which is why they're being extra cautious with Brad Boxberger now. You know, he had come back from that, you know, the surgery that he had. 16 pitches in, he goes right back on the DL. Now he's itching to come back. He wants to play ball. You know, let's go. And they're saying, give us a back-to-back, and then, you know, we'll get you back in there. But
exactly.
That's where the communication between the player, the organization, the training staff is key.
That year with the Stone Crabs, Hahn was at the All-Star break 0-1 in 12 starts with an 0.68 ERA. 0-1. He ended up making 19 starts that year in 67 innings. Here's a ground ball to third, and Healy makes the play across. Ryan Healy finishes off a 1-2-3 inning for the Rays. 2-0 Oakland. Inning, Jake Odorizzi looking on. He'll be starting that game coming back off this road trip. And our inside look presented by Toyota. How about this run?
Well, and you know what? Keep this up here for a minute because there's a lot of numbers. This is a top to bottom type deal, everybody. A top to bottom. Do not read left to right. And when you figure it out, you're going to see great outings by the Rays starting staff.
Tell them when they're allowed to move the graphic.
Well, Blake Snell's in his windup, so this will be a good time.
We're underway in the bottom of the third with a pitch outside the zone, 1-0.
It's the first producing I've ever done.
You've done it on both graphics now. You wanted the other one back. That one you held long enough so everybody could.
You got to be able to digest that. There's a lot of good numbers there.
And your buddy Johnny's worked hard on those. So you want his work to pay off. Snell, in his third inning of work, allowed a double to Jake Smolinski. First of 4 batters with base hits against Blake. He pitched a little differently in that second inning, getting ahead of the hitters, but he's down 2-0 the count here. As you can see, all 3 pitches could have been called strikes. Instead, he's down in the count, 3-0.
Frustrating. You know, because you're out there on the mound, you've thrown these pitches hundreds of thousands of times, and you're like, man, that looked like a strike. So did that one. Now that, where do I have to go with it?
Last one was the best of the 3. That was the first one out of the zone. But all 4 were called balls, and that's why Smolinski has a leadoff walk. You know, the one time you hear about umpires is when their zone is off a little bit or inconsistent. First night, Mark Ripperger had a little bit of a strange zone, but the last 2 nights, our televised games, Joe West, Kerwin Danley, we didn't mention them at all. No. Maybe once when Ryan Madsen had a couple of close pitches that Joe West didn't call, but nice job by those guys who are at second and third base respectively tonight. We don't often talk about an umpire when he does a nice job behind the plate, but they did a nice job.
Oh, it's so difficult. I mean, you got these pitches moving at such speeds, late movement, and you're calling these one after the other, a couple hundred in a given night. And like you said, when you don't mention them at all, that means the majority of them they got right.
I would think Fletcher has a tough task today, too, with 2 kids. And umpires get used to pitchers, too, over the years, but 2 kids they haven't seen who have those big 12-6 curveballs. Because those really had a lot of depth. Where did it cross the plate? 0-2 to Valencia after a 4-pitch walk to Smolinski. Fouled back. A's have struggled against left-handers recently. Going into last night, they had lost 10 out of their last 11 games against left-handed starters. And last night's game kind of skews, even though Drew Smiley shut them down. They win the game against a righty late in Alex Colomé. That's still 10 out of 12 games they've lost against lefties. And there Snell gets Valencia looking bad on the breaking ball. That is strikeout number 2 for Blake.
Now a nice bounce back after the 4-pitch walk. You come right back here, a tough hitter in Valencia. And boy, look at that ball just disappear. Just shoots right out of the camera shot. You get that kind of depth, you get the swing and the miss.
Here's Chris Davis. He doubled his first time up. On the ground could be 2. Miller, Forsythe, Logan to Steve Pearce, and that'll do it for the A's on the first pitch double play off the bat of Chris Davis. 2-0 Oakland after 3. switched their cleats to cowboy boots for the Hunter Hayes postgame concert on Saturday, July 30th. For that night only, Bud and Bud Light 20-ounce beers will be only $5. For tickets to see the Rays battle the Yankees and to see the concert, call 888-FAN-RAYS or visit RaysBaseball.com today. Rays up. Rays will wrap up this road trip in L.A. after the day off tomorrow as Brad Miller takes a called strike at the knees, 0-1. 2 games in L.A. with the Dodgers Tuesday night and Wednesday afternoon, then back home, day off, coming off the West Coast trip. And then Yankees in for 3, Kansas City in for 4, and Minnesota in for 3. And kids, if you're listening, you may want to mute the sound about what I'm going to say. That is the last homestand prior to school starting, believe it or not.
You know what? It's amazing.
In the air, deep to left center field. Davis is all the way back on the track. He'll have a play, catches it around his waist, and there's one out.
You know how quickly the summer moves. You know, at the beginning of the year, you hear about, you know, attendance, and you say, well, when the kids get out of school, attendance is going to go up, you know, and then all of a sudden it happens, and before you know it, you're talking about them going back to school.
Only 4 more homestands all year, believe it or not. 4 more homestands, 4 more road trips after this one.
This game moves.
Yeah.
It moves. I mean, it's like you said in the open, it's every day, except for Monday and Thursday of next week.
I never wanted to be reminded when school was starting when I was still weeks away from my summer break being over. That was never enjoyable. That's why school ending, I love the Indy 500. School's out, life is good. Indy 500 was my sign that school was coming back. And when we started, I don't know when you guys went back, it was right around Labor Day weekend and the Jerry Lewis telethon. So I'm like,
wait a minute.
The telethon's on, bad news. That means school's up.
No, the telethon's on, bad news, the telethon's on.
They did great things for MDA over the years.
I just don't know how you take that with school.
I had the Indy 500 good, telethon, school starting bad. Summer's in, Indy 500, life is good.
Yeah.
Those were my.
Isn't it funny though how you have those
associate those?
Yeah, the little milestones.
See, those kids still have a few weeks left in the summer, so don't worry about it. But yeah, that is our last homestand before school's in session. 2-2 the count to Evan Longoria. We're 1 out in the 4th. Evan fouls one back to the press level area just above. Evan Graham.
You've now ruined the telethon for me.
Why?
Because
you're not in school anymore.
I know that, but that's what I'm going to think about.
Okay. But now you'll love the Indy 500 even more. 2 for 13 for Longoria in this series. Takes a pitch down low. Evan with those 50 extra base hits. One of just 4 American leaguers with that number. Now up to 5 in the AL. Another one added to the list last night. Count is full on Evan with Corey Dickerson, the only player who's been able to do anything against Jesse Hahn so far for the Rays with a double his first time up. There is Longoria drawing a walk, battling back. He's a 1-out base runner. First walk issued by Hahn, and really that's been the one thing that's hurt him at times this year is issuing walks.
Well, he had 15 in 34 2/3 innings. And just 16 strikeouts. So, yeah, unnecessary base runners typically come back to haunt you. Let's hope for the Rays' sake that they can make Jesse Hahn pay on this one because he's been pretty good here this afternoon in the early going.
We have seen some of the A's pitching their best games in this series. We saw Sean Manaea on Friday dealing 8 innings of shutout baseball. Didn't allow an extra base hit, only 5 singles. We saw Kendall Graveman pitch the A's first complete game last night in 148 games. Ended up going from a loser in a 3-1 game to the winning pitcher in walk-off fashion. And today we're seeing a strong start to this game by Jesse Hahn. Dickerson was on the curveball last time and doubled to center field. 1-0 pitch back to Hahn. He gloves it, throws to short for 1. Simeon's relay in time, and that's a double play. So the Rays' 4th ends the same way the A's 3rd ends with a double play. It's 2-0 Oakland. Brought to you by Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today. By Just for Men, great looking hair made easy. Just for Men. And by Toyota, let's go places. Rays started this road trip in Denver, took 2 out of 3 against the Colorado Rockies. Now on to the San Francisco, Oakland Bay area, where they have lost 2 of the first 3, the last 2 in walk-off fashion. And then a day off tomorrow, wrapping up this 9-game, 3-city road trip with 2 against the Dodgers as Billy Butler leads things off against Blake Snell. Butler singled to right field his first time up for an RBI, his 23rd RBI of the year. Gave the A's the 2-0 lead, which still holds. There's a called strike. It's 1-1. Butler's hit .303 coming into the game against lefties. Has started every game this year the A's have played against a left-handed starter. That is a little bit up and in. It's 2-1 on Butler. Butler, longtime member of the Kansas City Royals, joined the A's last year. Spent 07 through 14 with KC. That's at the top of the strike zone. It's now a full count. Blake Snell so far, allowing those 4 hits in the first, has not allowed a hit since. All 4 hits in consecutive batters. Has walked a batter and struck out 2 through 3 innings. That's hit high in the air into left field. Corey Dickerson looks in the sun. He's trying to angle his body and makes the play. We talked about that in the first inning.
And look who was lurking, coming to his Kevin Kiermaier. He saw what everybody else saw, and he was hustling over there for a little assistance, but this can get dangerous. Sun straight up above, no clouds to play off of. Thank goodness for those sunglasses.
So 1 out, nobody on. By the way, all is right with the world again here in Oakland Coliseum because Dick Callahan is back on the public address system.
Oh,
we missed him.
We did.
No offense to Chris Townsend, did a nice job,
Yep.
nice voice, but there is a certain feel you get from Dick Callahan here that is unlike any other in any stadium in baseball.
And I would absolutely agree with you. You know, you knew coming in that he was going to miss at least the first couple of games, maybe the whole series, and it was different. Amazingly so, from a PA announcer.
Right.
It was different, but you heard him introduce the lady who sung the national anthem, you know, here today, and you're like, wait a minute, that's not tape, that's live, and I feel warm and fuzzy.
2-0 the count. That's a distinct voice, and it is all about the A's. His sense of humor, everything's about this little vibe out here. Fans are fun and crazy out here. Callahan kind of adds to that feel.
Yeah, you don't have to be a big fan of the ballpark, but the atmosphere once the game starts is like no other, especially when this place is filled up.
No doubt. The fans make a lot of noise, have a lot of fun. That is in the hole. Miller stops it. Long throw wide, and it gets by Pierce momentarily. Healy actually took a turn, so he'll have to head back to first. And that's a base hit for the rookie third baseman, Ryan Healy.
Well, it was something for Brad Miller to get to that ball. Slides over into the hole to make that play, and then the throw just a little bit wide. They may have had a chance of getting Healy. It was going to be close. A tremendous effort getting to that ground ball by Healy.
Infield hit. Here's another look.
Gets it into the hole. Nice job. It's smooth, just wide. To a cutter.
He did throw a cutter. That's the thing. When you are transferring the ball in a hurry, you don't have time to grab a four-seam fastball. And Kevin Kiermaier talks about that all the time, how he tries to grab a four-seam fastball with his throws, but a lot of times he ends up on the seams, and that two-seamer will really tail on him. And as a shortstop, he just picked that ball up and threw a cutter. So guy on first, Ryan Healy, the rookie. Now Marcus Semien is the batter. Count is 2-0 on Semien. A's and the Rays, game 4 of a 4-game series. Tampa Bay won the opener 7-3. The A's won in 13 innings, 1-0 Friday. And last night, a 3-1 lead went away in the bottom of the ninth with 2 home runs by the A's. And they walked it off 4-3. Back-to-back walk-offs and 3 walk-offs in the last 5 days during this 6-3 homestand for Oakland. Blake has missed down on 3 pitches to Marcus Semien. And now, with a runner on first and 1 out, trying to fight back in this at-bat. He cannot. All 4 pitches below the zone. That puts runners on first and second with 1 away. Second walk issued by the Rays left-hander.
Yeah, that's what hurts too, is because you don't walk bad enough, but when you walk and push a guy into scoring position, already down a couple of runs, Blake Snell's going to have to regroup here, and that's why Jim Hickey coming out there, obviously noticing something that has gone awry mechanically, just was not able to make the adjustment, get that ball back into the zone.
.61 pitches for the Rays left-hander Blake Snell. He got through his last start.
Now batting, first baseman, number 17, Yonder Alonso.
There you hear Dick Callahan. He got through his last start with 6 innings and only 96 pitches, averaging 16 pitches per inning. But to get through the 4th, averaging that same amount, he will need to get 2 outs in the next 3 pitches. Alonso grounded back off of Blake Snell's glove, and Evan Longoria threw him out. Here's a fly ball into left center. Corey Dickerson puts it away, and there's 2 outs. Well, there's one way to get through 2 outs on 3 pitches. Get a first pitch swing from Alonso. That's 2 away now, first and second.
Another good visit by Jim Hickey.
Hickey has great visits. I like when he covers up that mouth, just in case anybody's watching.
You ever hear the story about why he does that?
No.
Oh, when he was a rookie pitching coach in Houston, he went out there and did not cover his mouth up and was just chatting away on what we were going to do with this guy, how we were going to pitch him. Meanwhile, it's up on the Jumbotron, and everybody on the other team is watching it.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. Have him tell you the story. It's great.
That's good. So ever since then?
Ever since then, he's got you that hand
covert
covers the mouth. You just don't know what's being broadcast.
Maxwell takes one away, 1-0. There is Hick next to Chris Archer. And Tom Foley watching on. Archer will get the start on Tuesday, the first game of that Dodgers series. Assuming for the Rays. I'm kidding. Breaking ball outside. Corner. Called strike, 1-1.
Did you read Hickey's lips right there?
What'd he say?
He asked me, he said, do you actually own a hat the other 4 days? Saw him.
Did he?
Because
he didn't cover
his mouth. He asked him if he had anything but a non-game day hat.
1-1 the count to Maxwell. There's a good pitch inside. 1-2. Now the rumors are going to continue to swirl, whether it's Archer, Odorizzi, Moore, Pierce. The good news is for those starters, they only have 1 start each next week, because there's a couple of days off, Monday and Thursday, so they only have 1 more start to hear about it. 1-2 pitch. That should be a called 3rd strike. It is. Snell gets through the 4th and works out of a first and second 1-out situation. 3 strikeouts for Blake. We're through 4, 2-0 Oakland. Tampa Bay 2-0. $2 Kids Ticket Tuesdays, presented by Morgan Auto Group, is back on Tuesday, August 2nd, when the Kansas City Royals come to town. All kids 14 and under get $2 tickets with a purchase of a full-price paid adult ticket. Call 888-FAN-RAISE or visit raisebaseball.com/specials. Kansas City will be an interesting team to see what they do at the trade deadline. Remarkably enough, the defending world champions are still sitting at 500 right now. And we are approaching game 100 of the season. Whenever the Rays see them, they look like they can never lose a game, as Steve Pearce takes a called strike, 0-1. But they've been losing to other teams. 49 and 49 coming into today's play. Check that, 48 and 48, a 500 record.
Well, the injuries catching up to an extent, and really the pitching. You know, the starting pitching not getting out of it what they would hope. Still have a shutdown bullpen, even though that's been nicked up with some injuries. They still, statistically, best bullpen in baseball.
Diving stop, Alonso. Hahn gets over to cover in time. Steve Pearce says he missed the bag. Steve Pearce is claiming that the pitcher missed the bag, and we may get a review on this if, in fact, the Rays see what Steve Pearce saw on the review.
That was a tremendous effort by Alonso, being able to lead Hahn to the bag from down on his knees. But did he get the bag is right.
Pearce isn't leaving the field. And now his manager, Kevin Cash, says you better leave the field because we saw something you didn't.
He caught the inside part of the bag, and you can understand why Steve Pearce would want to appeal that, because maybe he did just miss it, but see how he comes down inside, catches the inside edge.
So 1 out on the ground ball. Here's Oswaldo Arcia. Arcia struck out his first time up, looking at a pitch he thought was out of the zone. So only 1 hit allowed and 1 walk allowed through 4 1/3 innings by Jesse Hahn. We have seen, after the Rays scored 28 runs in 3 games prior to Friday, we have seen some really good pitching from this Oakland A's young rotation.
And you know what? Statistically, for the season, they're bad. But they've been throwing the ball well the last week and a half coming out of the All-Star break. You mentioned 6-3 record. And the team ERA has, well, it's matched a team that's going to win 6 out of 9.
Hahn last pitched on Wednesday, which was only 3 days rest, but they basically made it a bullpen session for him. He pitched 1 inning at the minor league level for Nashville, knowing that they would need at least a spot start, and who knows beyond that, with Rich Hill trying to recover from that blister. 2-2 the count to Arcia. Little flinch there, but no call from Andy Fletcher. Arcia would have been livid had he been called out on that, but that was close to a strike.
You know what? That right there was almost a carbon copy of the previous pitch. They're almost right on top of each other on Fox tracks, very close. A better sell job by Arcia.
Swing and a miss. Hahn picks up strikeout number 4 as he gets Arcia for the second time.
Any doubt where Jesse Hahn wanted to finish off Arcia? He just kept pumping fastballs up and in, one after the other. Finally got his man. And he can do it too. 95 miles an hour. He's been sitting up with that fastball, and impossible location.
So 2 outs, nobody on. Steven Souza Jr., the hitter. He grounds the first pitch to the third baseman, Healy. And a high throw, Souza safe. He was getting down the line in a hurry, and that may have added to the fact that Healy rushed that throw and threw it a little high.
Remember the late night with the Rays, him talking about Kiermaier getting out of the box and how he, look at him, hustling out of there too, and he gets a chopper. Healy then rushes the throw, and it's a hair high. That's what pressure can do to a defense. And when you're getting out of the box and they know that's part of the scouting report, they've got to turn it up a little bit, try to do things quicker than they may want to, and that'll lead to mistakes.
He earned himself a hit. They gave him a hit on that.
It's even better.
Good for him. There's a called strike, 0-1. Ray's second hit. Kevin Kiermaier takes a called strike.
Yeah, because if it's a good throw, the inning's over. But you'll take it.
Yeah,
Bad
right.
throw. Take that. On the road, no less.
Oh, 1 pitch is fouled away. Kiermaier flied to center his first time up.
I can cover the next half inning, bringing us back if you want to go talk to the scorekeeper.
Why's that?
Get that changed.
I'm happy for Steven.
It's true.
Yeah,
It's true.
I don't get calls changed.
It's just a
There's
rumor that floats
that
around.
That is a rumor.
Around it's a rumor
there's
that floats around the 5th floor. But I'm going to tell you what, it's heavy. People believe it.
Billy Matthews, who's the official scorer for the Rays at home, and I have great conversations. I don't question him about his calls unless there's a strange misinterpretation of the rule book. Occasionally we'll talk about that.
Which you love interpreting.
I know, I do that too much.
You love
that is
that.
the nerd side of me, sorry. 0-2 the count on Kevin Kiermaier.
You get Dwayne all frothy about it, and then everything gets weird.
In the air beyond third base. Healy looking up at that sun will take it himself, and that'll do it for the Rays. In the 5th, infield hit for the Rays, and they have nothing to show for it. After 5, they're down 2-0. Oakland leading Tampa Bay 2-0. Our greater coverage of baseball brought to you by T-Mobile. Today is induction day in Cooperstown, the Baseball Hall of Fame, the class of 2016. Ken Griffey Jr. and Mike Piazza. Congratulations.
Yeah, what can you say? I mean, the accolades, the numbers that they put up. Mike Piazza from the catcher's position, such a demanding position, and then look at those numbers. And Ken Griffey Jr., what can you say? You know, you go 1-1 in the draft and then back it up with that.
And you hit a home run the same game your dad hits a home run? That's cool.
That's beyond cool.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
You and Pops play on the same team.
Jed Lowry grounds out to start the inning. That was amazing, that little time when they shared the outfield together with the Mariners. Blake Snell grew up a Mariners fan.
Center fielder.
Steven Souza Jr.'s hero in baseball growing up was Ken Griffey Jr. We got a few M's guys here that are playing for the Rays. There's Suze. His dad's in town watching a little baseball here on the West Coast. 1 out, nobody on. Jake Smolinski, the batter. He has doubled and walked. Blake Snell has allowed 5 hits and 2 walks. And he has struck out 3 so far in the first 4 1/3 innings.
But right now, this game is a 4-hitter span.
Yeah.
In the first inning.
That's exactly it. That's the whole game right there.
I mean, you get Smolinski gets out in round 1 to the corner. Valencia goes the other way. Davis, a base hit. Butler goes the other way, and that's it. I mean, that's been the only offense. Jesse Hahn's thrown the ball well. Blake Snell has recovered nicely. Wow, that's really been the story of the last couple of games here, too.
And really the story for Blake Snell is going to be one of watching a young left-hander who's got the ability, the stuff to pitch and do very well at the major league level. And to watch him progress is going to be one of the fun storylines to watch in the second half for the Rays.
We've seen him getting more and more comfortable with the big league life, the way that scouting reports up here different than they are in AAA. There are fewer secrets. Pretty soon the league will know everything that Blake Snell likes to do. That's where you really have to start making adjustments.
That big curveball that's fouled away. It stays 1-2.
The one thing I like about Blake in the early going, when he's had an outing that maybe hasn't gone his way, accountability. He doesn't blame. He doesn't tell you how good he threw and how well he's throwing or how well he's feeling. He just says, I got to get better. That's not up to snuff. And that is maybe the most impressive thing of all when you talk about a young pitcher. Being able to take ownership of your outings, be accountable when they don't go well, and then work to fix them.
He's been fun to talk to. He's got a fun perspective, like you and Dwayne were talking about in Colorado. He'll say things sometimes that, just to be honest, like, I'm probably not going to throw the curveball much tomorrow. He'll just say what's on his mind.
Keep that one in your wallet next time.
But then, as he sees a ball loop foul here on the 2-2 count, then he broke it out occasionally in some really big spots.
Yeah. Well, he got, was it LeMahieu?
LeMahieu looking
on one on the outside corner. That was the one where you're like, taking us down a path, and then, oh, by the way, here it is. I think that was an outing where he was just feeling it, and you just get that feeling sometimes as a pitcher. This is the spot. This is the spot, and I've been throwing everything else and executing every other pitch. I'm going for it, and he put it right in there.
8 of his 96 pitches were curveballs in that Colorado start. 20 sliders. That was his big pitch, other than the fastball. 3-2 pitches hit hard. Longoria stays with it, and Evan makes the throw across for the second out.
Tell you what, how good is Evan Longoria down there at third base? Now, granted, this ball fielded him. I mean, he had no chance. But to have the reflexes, soft hands, that's a bullet with a slider type of spin on it. And he has said that when the ball's hit hard, all I'm thinking of is just keep it in front of me. If I have to knock it down because I know I'm going to have time to recover. But he's got such soft hands, quick reflexes.
Yeah, there's definitely a spoiled factor involved when you watch Kevin Kiermaier play center and Evan Longoria play third, until you watch some other guys around the league and realize how good they are.
No, you don't understand, and I'm sure a lot of people do, but you're right. Tampa Bay fans, Tampa Bay Rays are spoiled. Don't know how good you have it with these two guys playing defense. Two of the best in the game.
1-1 the count to Danny Valencia. Valencia singled home the first run. His first time up, has also struck out. Valencia making his second start in right field as a major leaguer. There you see some gold and platinum glovers. It's going to be tough for Kevin to get back into the gold glove status just because of the time he missed.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate. He still may be able to sneak in there because of his reputation, but when you miss as much time as he did, it limits your opportunities. We'll see. 2-1 pitch, chopped towards Evan, comes in, makes the play on the move, and that'll do it for Oakland here in the fifth. 3 ground balls to Evan Longoria. That's how the fifth went for Oakland. They still lead 2-0. Rays minor leaguer Jesse Hahn has been outstanding. 5 innings of 2 hit, could be 1 hit baseball, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts, has not allowed the Rays to have any sort of threat other than a leadoff double by Corey Dickerson in the second. The Rays would string together 4 consecutive hits in that first inning. Chris Davis with a double, Billy Butler with a base hit. Andy Valencia would score there on the Butler single, and that would make it 2-0. That's it. 4 straight hitters scoring 2 runs. Those are the highlights for today's game so far offensively, as Luke Maile will lead off against his former minor league teammate. 1-0 the count to the Rays catcher. On the ground towards third, Healy with 2 big hops will make this play for the first out. So 1 out for the Rays here in the 6th, back to the top of the order. We'll see if, after seeing Jesse Hahn 2 times, if the Rays hitters can figure him out the 3rd time around, because he has been really good so far.
He really has. You know, he's been driving the fastball downhill, elevating at other times. You think about the ones that he threw to Arcia up and in. Curveball's been as advertised.
He said he was really looking forward to this start. The first time he was traded from the Rays to San Diego, and his first chance to pitch against his original organization.
And he said there's a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. You know, I mean, he understands it's part of the game, but you feel there's a feeling that, you know, they've given up on you or they're giving you away. You know, you just sometimes you take it personally, and you're right.
When was that for you? What was the first time you faced it?
I was traded one time.
Yeah.
And I knew it was coming. You know, Mark Shapiro at the time was the GM with the Indians, and we were going nowhere that year, and I was having, you know, a pretty good season. And the Royals, that was when they got off to that great start in '03, and they were in the race. And so, you know, towards the end of August, it was an after the waiver, you know, deal, and he said, listen, we're going to trade you. So these are the 4 or 5 teams that are interested and where we're looking to go. And
did you face Cleveland that year in August or September?
I did.
Okay, that had to be weird.
It was really weird.
You were teammates with them all year.
Yeah. Oh, it was a quick turnaround. I think they purposely traded me so that they could face me the next week. You come to think of it, that was a dirty move by Shapiro. I got him a win. I don't think I won that game. Because I had 7 starts with the Royals. I went 5-1. That may have been the loss.
You're kidding me.
Yeah.
We got to look that up now.
I have to look that up. I know that I did not have a good outing against the Indians.
2-2, that's away. 3-2. Yeah, that has to be really weird. You share your entire life that year with one team, and then within a matter of days or weeks.
Oh yeah, it was real quick. I got traded out there. I pitched against Showalter's Rangers, and then it was either the start right after that or 2 starts after that. So it was a quick turnaround.
Forsythe in the air to left field, where Chris Davis will play it right around his ankle for the 2nd out of the inning. Chris not enjoying the sun field today in left.
No, and we've seen Corey Dickerson have to really concentrate on some fly balls out there, play him off to the side a little bit.
Brad Miller.
So you try to get a beat on it, then you got to close some ground. What does Kevin Cash say? At least he caught the ball.
At least he caught it. At least he caught it. End result is an out. And there have been a lot of outs. The Rays do have 2 hits. One of them was a generous one given to Steven Souza on a ground ball to third base that he beat out on a high throw. The other one was Corey Dickerson, double to center field. But other than that, Jesse Hahn has been on his game. 1 walk, that was to Evan Longoria, who was wiped out on a double play. And that's it for the Rays today. We're getting a no decision report when you face the Indians in your first start with Kansas City. 4 1/3.
Yeah, I definitely deserved the loss. Teammates picked me up.
In the air to center field, and this should be another easy inning for Jesse Hahn. It is. Smolinski puts it away. The rookie right-hander Jesse Hahn looking good today. Today's Geico Great Moment. On this day in 2013, David Price needed just 97 pitches for a complete game victory at Fenway Park. His line, 9 innings, 5 hits, 1 run, 4 strikeouts. His third complete game with fewer than 100 pitches in a 4-start span. That was an unbelievable run he was on.
Making it look easy.
He came back in that game against the Astros in Houston, and then he was limited pitches in that game.
70.
Remember that?
10 punch-outs,
Yeah.
was it? And 70 pitches?
Yeah.
No, that was a joke what he did there.
That was his dominant performance. He just decided, I don't have many pitches, I'm going at you.
Yeah.
And they couldn't do anything about it.
And that became the way that he, still pitches to this day.
Mm-hmm.
He comes right after you, does not like to waste pitches.
Blake Snell starts the inning having thrown 80 pitches. Misses with the first couple in the dirt against Chris Davis to lead off the 6th inning for the A's. Davis, Billy Butler, Ryan Healy, 4, 5, and 6 in the A's lineup. Highest pitch count so far for Blake Snell in his young career came in Cleveland when he threw 104 pitches. Line drive past Logan Forsythe into center field. That was a bullet for a leadoff base hit.
You could see the ball come off the bat, the action that it had on it. When you catch those balls, those line drives, and right there, Chris Davis is talking about it. That ball came off the bat and had knuckling action.
It fooled Logan.
It absolutely did, and you can't blame him.
16, Billy Butler.
Watch this thing take off. All of a sudden there it starts to curl, and even Chris Davis was down there at first base was talking about that kind of, look at that, how that took off.
Wow.
Absolutely.
People don't realize that you can hit a ball so hard on a line that it will have knuckling action.
You literally knock the spin off the ball. It comes in with its, the spin rate. I got air quotes going. The spin rate, and then you hit that thing so square and so hard that you knock the spin right off of it.
So Chris Davis 2 for 3 today with that leadoff base hit here in the 6th. Billy Butler the batter. Butler 1 for 2. Swings through that curveball. Blake ahead of the count, 0-2. Braves are going to get the bullpen stirring for the first time today as we play here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Another lefty. Xavier Cedeno grabs his glove and looks like he will get a chance to warm up first today for the Rays.
You know what we never got a chance to do?
What's that?
We never got a chance. When Billy Butler played for the Kansas City Royals, he had his own rib sauce.
He did.
He did.
That's right. I remember that.
That's right. He had a, that big bottle of rib sauce, and we never got a chance to sample it. And I'm sure it's not being sold anymore.
You would think now that he's in Oakland.
Yeah.
Doesn't have.
There's no demand.
A lot of varieties for sure. In the air to center field, Kiermaier coming on in a hurry, and Kevin will bobble it and still make the catch. How about that? Kiermaier had a long way to go and didn't catch it clean on the first try, but got it on the rebound.
That initial split second of panic right here. And you got to be like, what? And look how he stays with it.
He's caught 2 balls on this road trip that have hit his chest.
Yeah, listen, you need to point out, Todd, when you head down there, talk to these guys, you point out there's a reason that black thing that goes on your hand, it's useful.
It's platinum. It's platinum glove.
It is. Maybe it's a little stiff. Because you're right, he's caught one off the wrist, the arm, the sternum, that line drive off the sternum.
Where's he going to catch this one with?
In the glove.
The glove.
Yes. That's how you do it.
Catches that one with the glove, 2 outs.
See how much easier that is?
I like that point, too. I like the little shoot he does with Susan. They talked about that. We have more late night with the Rays tomorrow. Today's a day game, so it's not a late night with the Rays. Or, excuse me, not tomorrow. Tomorrow's an off day, Tuesday night. So we'll have more of the late night with the Rays, and they talk about that little shooter thing. We kind of take that stance. Point.
We should do something like that. Like
just to remind each other how many outs?
Yeah. Well, yeah, something
shooter.
like that. one of your hits.
Line drive to Souza. He decides to play it on a hop. Bare hands it. He doesn't use the glove, and he gets it back in.
I mean, it's not funny, but there is a reason for that thing to be on. I mean, these guys they play off each other well, and they're taking it a little too far.
That ball, speaking of no spin, that ball had spin.
It did. It checked up and did it. It bounced back. I'll tell you, he stayed with that, and at least he knocked it down. That kept Chris Davis at second base.
So first and second on the base hit by Marcus Semien. And now Snell trying to get Alonso. Yonder Alonso doesn't play a whole lot against lefties. He was a late addition after Coco Crisp was scratched. They moved Valencia to the outfield and started Alonso. Snell should be through the 6 as Dickerson puts it away. A couple of hits in the inning, but no damage. So we are through 6 frames, and the A's still lead 2-0. Dodge. Visit Dodge.com. Buy Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by your Southern Chevy dealers. Hall of Famers racing in Oakland. Raleigh Fingers dominates. Ricky Henderson and Dennis Eckersley, the other two. Eck had won the previous 2 nights, but that was a runaway by Raleigh today. He's won 36 of those races so far this year. I like the fact that they don't try and have everybody win the same amount. He's got 36. The other guys have 25 and 21. Yeah, you got to let them run the way they normally would run as big bobbleheads.
Yeah.
If
that's the case, it would be 100-0.
Oh,
Ricky
if it was
Henderson.
real life? There you go. Evan Longoria leads off with a base hit here in the 7th inning. Oh, real life, no doubt.
Has he been dealing with a hammy issue this year?
Oh, they're big bobbleheads. All the other guys are hanging out in Cooperstown today. These are just big bobbleheads having a good time.
They're at the speeches.
There you go. There they are, the Hall of Famers.
Those are not easy to run it.
Ooh,
I've never done it, but I've heard and can completely understand that there's a certain technique, I would imagine. And it's not as easy as they make it look.
So a leadoff base hit for Evan Longoria. The Rays need some offense right now, down 2-0 with 3 innings to go. Corey Dickerson smoked a ball to center field his first time up. Hits one high in the air, shallow center field. Coming on is Smolinski, and the center fielder puts it away for the first out. Jesse Hahn pitching into the 7th inning today. So far has allowed only 3 base hits to the Rays.
Number 28.
His longest outing of his season is 6 2/3. Did that against the Astros back on April 30th and also the Texas Rangers on May 17th. Here's Steve Pearce. Strikeout and a ground out. Gray's trying to get a rally going here, find a way to pull off this final game of the 4-game series. The A's have lost 10 of their last 11 final games of the series. The Rays are down 2-0.
Come on, Drake.
Rays will head to LA to take on the Dodgers. The A's are wrapping up a 10-game homestand. They will head out to Texas to take on the Rangers beginning tomorrow. No Josh Reddick in the lineup with a lefty starting and a little back issue. No Coco Crisp in the lineup today with a neck issue. Pierce fouls one back. 1-2 the count to the Rays first baseman. In the air to center field, drifting to his left is Smolenski. He makes the call, and there's 2 away.
Now that's the one thing that Jesse Hahn has been able to do today. When you start to think that the Rays maybe can get something going against him, he's been able to quell that and put those fires out. A ground ball double play helped earlier in the game. A leadoff single here by Longoria. You're thinking, okay, this is where they start to make their move, and 2 flyouts have put a damper on that. Need to get something going with 2 outs, which, by the way, the Rays have done a pretty nice job of this season. A lot of 2-out runs.
See if Arcia could do something here. Oswaldo has struck out twice. 2 of the 4 strikeouts for Hahn. Hahn has been victimized by lefties coming into this game, hitting at a 400 clip against him. But Brad Miller's 0 for 3 today. Oswaldo Arcia is 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. Kevin Kiermaier's 0 for 2. The lone hit belongs to Corey Dickerson. Here's a ball high in the air into right field. Drifting towards the line is Danny Valencia, and he puts it away. That does it for the Rays. A leadoff base hit by Evan Longoria. He doesn't move any further. 7th inning stretch time. It's the A's 2, the Rays nothing. There you see the game summary. A couple of young pitchers. Jesse Hahn, the right-hander, former Rays minor leaguer. 7 innings of shutout baseball so far. Blake Snell, 6 innings of 2-run baseball. All the runs came in the bottom half of the first inning, all 2 of them. And now he will deal with Bruce Maxwell, who fouls one. 0-1. We mentioned Snell's high pitch count of his young career. Was a start against the Cleveland Indians back on June 21st, 104 pitches. He starts this inning with 90 pitches. And with that in mind, Erasmo Ramirez is warming in the Rays bullpen. Away, it's 1-1. There is the Rays right-hander, Erasmo Ramirez. Pitched in the game Thursday and Friday here. That's what was so frustrating about yesterday's game. You got a great start out of Drew Smyly, 6 innings. Matt Andriese comes in and pitches 2 perfect innings, the 7th and 8th. And then the one thing you've been able to count on all year long as a Rays fan has been Alex Colomé closing out the 9th. That did not happen last night.
You could see that he was a little bit off in that first at bat with the 4-pitch walk. And, you know, then you start to ask yourself, well, how much of an effect of not having a lot of regular work the last month? You know, not many save opportunities for this team. And you could see it. The fastball was flat. He wasn't precise with it like he normally is. He did, you know, come back and strike out Yonder Alonso. But then, you know, fastball leaks back middle of the plate, tie ball game. And you know, even Semien, was it Semien that had the fly ball to center field? Had a pretty good swing, just got under it, popped it up. And then, of course, Healy finished it off with another pitch that was out over the plate. And, you know, I mean, it's going to happen eventually. You're not going to be perfect forever, but did not see that coming last night. That was hard to wrap your mind around because that's how good Colomé has been for the Rays all year long.
Full count to Bruce Maxwell. Smolinski said when he faced Alex Colomé in Thursday's game, when he struck out to end the game against him, he realized how good that slider is.
Yeah.
And he said he went up there, he told somebody on the bench, if I see a fastball early, I'm going to have to jump on it because I don't want to get to the point where I have to try and hit that slider. And he ambushed him on that game-tying home run with a 2-run homer. 3-2, swing and a miss. Blake Snell strikes out Bruce Maxwell for the 2nd time today, and that is strikeout number 4 for the lefty Snell. You know, we saw Snell really dominate in Colorado. He's having himself quite an outing after a couple of runs in the first.
Hey, listen, you're pitching into the 7th inning here. You've given up 2 runs. You've given your team a chance to win. This is what you ask of your starting pitcher. And it was rough for about 4 hitters. And then since then, he has settled in nicely and is throwing the ball great.
Brad Miller makes the play. Jed Lowry grounds out. He's now 0 for 4. And there's 2 outs here in the 7th. That's going to be it for Snell. They had Erasmo Ramirez warming up. And Jake Smolinski had that double against him to start that 4-hitter sequence.
And you'd love to see him stay in. As hard as he's worked today, as well as he's pitched, give him a chance to pull out a win if your offense can do something. But that's not the case.
Quality start. That's 3 in a row for the lefty Snell. leaves the game with another outstanding outing.
Blake was great. You know, he gave up 2 runs in the first inning, and that's going to happen. And this is where the damage was done. Billy Butler would finish everything off, and from there, here comes the curveball, the slider, good fastball, able to elevate that pitch, able to spot that pitch, and you know that's why selfishly, you know, having been in his shoes, you pitch and battle like he did all day long. You want that opportunity to get that last out, finish off 7 innings, and put yourself in line for maybe the offense can come back and get you a win, get the team a win. But certainly he did what he was asked to do today, and he did it well.
Matched his longest outing of his major league career, 6 2/3 innings in his 8th major league start. Also did that against Cleveland when he went his career high 104 pitches. Erasmo Ramirez on to face Jake Smolinski. Ahead of the count, 0-2. There's a line drive past Brad Miller into left field. Miller knocked it down, so it was a long run for Dickerson, and Smolinski with a good hustle getting into second.
Well, he just continues to haunt the Rays, give them a hard time in this series. That ball well struck, and that ball off the end of the glove of Brad Miller got him a double. That dive kind of took some of the steam off of that hard hit ball. It died out in shallow left field, and Smolinski able to hustle into second base.
He's matched his career-long hitting streak with a 7-gamer with a couple of hits today during that stretch. He is hitting over 500, 11 for 20, or just under 500, 11 for 23. Back to Ramirez, who catches it and avoids the bat, which is sheared off. Makes the play to first for the out. So that's how the inning ends. We are through 7. The A's 2 runs in the first, holding up. Looking for some offense against Jesse Hahn, the former minor leaguer who pitched in the Rays organization and was eventually traded to San Diego and then traded to the Oakland A's. New right fielder for the A's, Josh Reddick, into the game. Did not play last night due to that back injury, but in there defensively, taking over for Danny Valencia. Steven Souza Jr. picked up a hit his last time up. A ground ball to third base as he hustled down the line, beat out a high throw. Proving that hustle can really work in your favor for a base hit. because that was just a two-hopper to Healy.
Yeah, and I contend that if the throw was on the money, he would have been out, and yet he gets a hit out of it. But like you said, good for him. Like we talked about it earlier. We've talked about it a lot during the course of this season. But the 3, 4, 5 at-bats you get in the game, and if you can hustle out of the box and the pressure that it puts on the defense, I know they're big leaguers, but it's still pressure. And you sit in those meetings and they say, hey, listen, these guys, this particular player, whoever they are, these guys, the defenders know who hustles out of the box each and every time. And so they know they don't have a lot of margin for error to make a play. They've got to get it and throw it right away. A little half swing is going to retire Steven Souza Jr., but what it does is when those guys are up, they're all well aware of it. Now you hit that ground ball and they're going to have to get things going early. And when you add pressure to something, you will get mistakes.
Number 39, Kevin.
Strikeout for Hahn. That is his 5th strikeout. This is our first look at Jesse Hahn. Has not faced the Rays before. What have you seen as Kiermaier digs in? What have you seen today that you like?
Well, a lot. What I've seen today that I'm questioning is his record in ERA coming into this game, because it says in my notes 2-4 with a 6.49. I'm not sure how this right here translates into a 6.5 ERA. I mean, he's been outstanding. The fastball's been firm. He's been able to work it downhill, drive it downhill to get ground balls, elevate it to get strikeouts. The curveball's been good, and you hope that good day is coming to an end with that base hit by Kiermaier.
That is a clean hit to right field for Kevin Kiermaier. Hit number 4 for the Rays. 3 singles and a double today for Tampa Bay. And he's a 1-out base runner and brings a tying run to the plate. The A's have a couple of Ryans in the bullpen for their 8th and 9th innings. Ryan Dull and Ryan Madsen. Right now Ryan Dull is warming up as Luke Maile steps into the batter's box.
Yeah, I think if you're Oakland, there's an awful lot to like from what you've seen from Mr. Hahn here this afternoon. And unfortunately, that's kind of been what we've been talking about the last 3 games.
Hit hard to center field. Smolinski makes the play. Kiermaier's going to have to retreat to first. That ball was tailing away or hooking away from Smolinski, but he hung in there.
Yeah, he really did. That was a nice play by the A's center fielder, because Luke Maile hit that ball square. I mean, you could hear the sound. Told you that ball was powdered. And Smolinski able to track it down.
That is going to be the final out recorded by Jesse Hahn on the Smolinski catch, and he's going to get a great hand from this crowd.
Well, deservedly so. He threw the ball well against his former team and said it was a start that he was looking forward to, and boy, did he come through.
We'll be back with more. The Rays bat with 2 outs in the 8th, down 2-0. Hahn goes 7 2/3 innings and allows just 4 hits and a walk, struck out 5. He is responsible for the lone runner, Kevin Kiermaier, at first, as Logan Forsythe will dig in against Ryan Dull and take a pitch on the outside corner, 0-1. All Dull did at the beginning of this year was strand 38 straight inherited runners. The longest streak in expansion era history. He's got a runner on first here with 2 outs. Breaking ball in the dirt. Kiermaier, good jump, gets to second.
Great anticipation by the Rays center fielder. Getting to scoring position. You're down just 2. And here you read that breaking ball in the dirt and you are off and running.
So now a chance for Logan Forsythe with a base hit to cut this lead in half. Rays running out of chances here in the 8th. That gets away. Maxwell having trouble with Ryan Dull's pitches. Remember, this kid just came up from AAA Nashville and making his first major league start. So there's a good chance he has not caught Dull, other than maybe all the way back in spring training.
And you wonder now if Dull stays away from that pitch. Got a runner on third now. You start to limit his arsenal by the simple fact that you've not been able to block 2 breaking balls in the dirt. Late getting around on that one, and it sneaks under the glove through the legs.
Fastball hammered to left field. This game is tied. Logan Forsythe unloads. It is 2-2. That is a great call, BA. He stays away from the slider that his catcher's having trouble with, and Logan crushed a fastball.
You're in a fastball count and you become predictable. And Logan Forsythe is sitting there waiting on that fastball, knowing that Dull is more than likely going to stay away from the off speed because of the previous 2 pitches. So you get it. Now the key is hammer it. It's exactly what he did.
That was well struck, way beyond the left field wall. And now the great start by Jesse Hahn goes away as a no decision, as Ryan Dull, who hadn't allowed an inherited run to score in his first 36 runners, now all of a sudden he's allowed 3 inherited runners to score. Of his last 4 out there. Here's Brad Miller, game tied. Fresh game now in Oakland Coliseum. And these fans have quieted down a bit. They were loving the outing by Jesse Hahn and so confident in Ryan Dull. And why not? This guy had numbers that could have landed him in the All-Star game. Unusual to see him give one up. 2-1 the count to Miller. There's a strike, 2-2. That was the first time he's faced a batter, a first batter, and given up an extra base hit. Strike 3 called, but damage done. Logan Forsythe, home run number 9 on the season, ties this game at 2 as we head to the bottom half of the 8th inning. Logan found a fastball to his liking and crushed it. Logan Forsythe has changed this game with a 2-run home run. We now head to the bottom half of the 8th inning. Erasmo Ramirez on for his first full inning of work. Chris Davis sends the ball in the air to Steven Souza Jr., and there's one out here in the 8th. Here's what's coming up on Tuesday's Rays Live, the pregame show presented by your Gulf Coast Honda dealers. We will hear from the Rays right-hander Chris Archer making the start against the Dodgers. And also, Orestes Estrada will break down Corey Seager. That's coming up at 9:30 Tuesday night. You know what the theme of this road trip has been? Shortstops that hit home runs. Corey Seager, 17. Here's Billy Butler, 1 out in the 8th, takes a called strike. Marcus Semien, 20.
Yeah.
This guy, 15, about to set a Rays record with his next one.
Already a personal high.
Already a personal high, about to break.
I know where you're going with this.
The first guy we saw.
Right.
Here's a ball hammered to center field. Kiermaier back all the way to the wall, leaping up, it's gone. Home run, Billy Butler. That was a line drive. Kiermaier, who can rob home runs, didn't have a whole lot of time to get back on that one.
Nope. And that was the only thing that kept him from making a real, or having a real opportunity to make that play. It was hit so hard and so fast, he couldn't get back there. Billy Butler selling out. This is something that Oakland wanted him to do a whole lot more of. Just his 3rd home run of the year. But he hits a line drive to center, and Kiermaier tracking it. And you're right. Listen, if he gets back to the wall, we've seen him make catches like that. We've seen him make catches maybe more difficult. He just didn't have enough time to get there.
So just when the Rays have tied this game, 2 batters later, Billy Butler unties it with his 3rd home run of the year. And now Ryan Healy will be the batter. Butler has done a lot of his damage this year against lefties. He doesn't have very good numbers against righties, but he certainly looked good in that at bat against Erasmo Ramirez. In the air, center field, way up in the air. Kiermaier shielding his eyes and puts it away with his buddy Steven Souza back there just in case. That high sky we talked about at the very beginning. Difficult for everybody in the outfield. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th. Billy Butler hadn't hit a home run since June 7th. At Milwaukee, 27 games in between home runs. We mentioned he does all his damage against lefties. He was hitting just .202 against righties coming into today. 2 outs, 3-2 A's lead. And Marcus Semien's the batter. The other shortstop we were going to talk about before the home run, Trevor Story, put 2 more out last night.
You know, you hit 7 home runs the first week of the season, and he really hasn't let up. I mean, obviously, no one's going to keep that pace going. But, boy, oh boy.
He's already got the National League rookie record for shortstops, and he is well on his way to passing Nomar Garciaparra's Major League record for home runs by a rookie shortstop. Semien is 1 for 2 today. Does have 20 home runs, 48 RBIs coming in. That single in the 6th inning snapped an 0 for 15 for Marcus. And now ground ball past Erasmo, but Logan Forsythe is there. A little high throw, and Pierce is off the bag.
Well, Kevin Cash wants to take a look, but Steve Pierce not putting up much of a squawk. So we'll see what the end result is on this. Kevin Cash saying, listen, you were wrong on your running up the first baseline. We hope you're wrong about this. See that high throw.
Well, I don't know. Rays may have something to say about this.
Previous play
Look.
is under review.
He may have come down just in time. Let's take a look.
Well, he came down in front. He got down in time, but
Yes.
was the foot touching the bag? It came down but it looked like it came down maybe in front of the bag. Like I said, Steve Pearce did not put up much of a fight.
That is the key. Where is the toe when he comes down?
High throw.
Oh, I don't know.
If you could tell from that, you have the best eyesight on the planet.
Where they're going to blow it up, slow it down. It's going to be a beautiful.
It's not going to change the fuzz. Or the blurriness, whatever you want to call it.
They're going to get a good look at this somehow, some way. I feel confident.
Oh, I think they're going to get a good look for sure, but not from that shot. You're not. I'm sorry.
It's either going to be Rays.
If that's the definitive look, I quit.
You can't quit. We still have 2 more games on this road trip. Day off in LA, which you'll enjoy. Logan just a little bit high with the throw, and then whether Pearce came down in time is the answer to this riddle. Semien either lives on an error by Logan Forsythe.
Now, see, I don't think so. I think he came down in time. It's just, does the foot hit the bag?
Oh, that's okay. Well, that's what I meant.
It comes down.
I hear what you're saying.
Like
it came back to
Earth.
Bag. Came back to Earth in time.
Yes.
Whether he hit the bag in time is
whether
the key.
he hit the Hollywood bag.
Okay, I got you. So that's the review. The Rays will either be out of the inning and batting in the 9th, down 3-2 with Evan Longoria, Corey Dickerson, and Steve Pearce due up. Or Erasmo Ramirez will have to face Yonder Alonso with a runner on first and 2 outs here in the 8th. The decision has been made, and we will find out. They faked us out. There we go. Did not get the bag. Safe at first, Semien. That's the Rays' first error by an infielder in 13 games. All the other errors have been made by outfielders. Catcher Luke Bailey has one. The infield defense has been really solid. Logan's throw a little bit high, allowing Semien to reach base. So now Erasmo will try and get Yonder Alonso, who is 0 for 3. Ground out and a couple flyouts to left. It's quite a run by the infield, 12 games without an error.
They have definitely hit their stride. There's no doubt about it. Tough one there.
The Rays will face the closer for the A's, Ryan Madsen, in the 9th inning. And while Madsen does have 20 saves on the year, he has also blown 5 saves, so he has not been automatic. In the air, slicing to left field, tough play, Dickerson. This will one-hop against the wall. Dickerson gets it back in nicely and keeps the runner at third base.
That's the key. Boy, with 2 outs, you're running on contact, and that ball slicing right down the line, high off the wall after the bounce. But Dickerson getting it in to Longoria as quickly as he did. And if there was an attempt to score there, Longoria would have gunned him easily at the plate.
Now batting the catcher, number 63, Bruce Maxwell.
No time to spare. Boy, that ball eludes that glove, and the lead just grew.
So nice play by the Rays left fielder Corey Dickerson, and now Erasmo Ramirez tries to get the rookie catcher Bruce Maxwell. Still looking for his first big league hit. In the air, popped up. Tough sky we mentioned in Oakland. Longoria shielding his eyes and makes the play. And we are through 8. So the Rays down 1 heading to the 9th. Dodge.com. By Kubota. For more information, go to FloridaKubotaDealers.com. And by your Gulf Coast Honda dealers. Billy Butler hasn't had a ton of success against righties this year, but he had a big home run against Erasmo Ramirez in the bottom half of the 8th inning to break a 2-2 tie, and now the Rays try and come from behind for the second time today, and they will be taking on the closer for the Oakland Athletics, Ryan Madson.
Well, they need one. Just as quickly as Oakland got theirs, the Rays are capable of doing the same thing. They'll have 3 outs to do it. Ryan Madson 3-3 with the record, 20 out of 25 saves. Not a huge strikeout closer.
Heavy on the 4-seam fastball, especially on the first pitch. He'll show that changeup a lot more to lefties. Also a cutter is what he features. As Evan Longoria grounds the first pitch to short. Simeon's throw on the money, 1 out. MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, delivers everything you have come to expect and more. Watch every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. Here's Corey Dickerson, doubled his first time up, grounded out and flied out, 1 for 3. Dickerson has only faced Madson once in his career, and Madson struck him out that time. First pitch fastball called strike. 77% of the time it's a first pitch 4-seam fastball. After Dickerson, it's Steve Pearce. If they get further than that, Oswaldo Arcia. One and one. Rays have rallied once today. 2-run home run by Logan Forsythe against Ryan Dull. And Dull's actually had a better season overall than the closer Ryan Madson. First extra base hit Dull gave up all year long to the first batter he faced. And it was a game-tying 2-run home run. Now Madson ahead 1-2 on Corey.
You know, and he's been living down there in the part of the strike zone that Corey Dickerson does a lot of damage on, and not an offer yet. Maybe he figured if I bounce one, he'll swing.
Corey has 14 home runs on the season, and all 14 have come against right-handed pitchers.
You know, and strong enough to get the ball out left field. You know, foul pole guy. I'd like to see him turn it loose here and see if he can't catch one.
Late swing at that fastball. Madson gets the strikeout. There's 2 outs in the ninth.
That's one of those frustrating at-bats where you watch all of the pitches thrown by Madson, and then that's the one that you choose to swing at.
They wanted it down. It missed the target by a bunch. There you see the emergency hack. So 2 outs down to the last shot. Steve Pearce, the batter. Pearce looking for his first hit of the game. He takes a big swing, no contact.
Man, he got a pitch to handle there. Madson left that flat and up out over the plate, and Steve Pearce just swung through it. Boy, I'd like to see another one of those. Watch what this pitch is. Want it down and away. It's right there.
0-2.
It's where the velocity saves you. You know, that mistakes made like that with less velo, and there's a good chance that Pearce is going to launch, and he still may. But 96-97 buys you a little margin for error.
A's walked it off Friday and Saturday night. 13 innings on Friday, a 3-run ninth last night. Today, a Billy Butler home run in the bottom half of the 8th inning. The difference right now, as Ryan Madson with an 0-2 count on Steve Pearce. Upstairs, 1-2. 2. Here stays alive. Steve grounded into a double play when facing Madsen earlier in this series. In the game on Friday night, 0 for 3 in his career against the Athletics closer. Third straight game coming right down to the wire in the 9th inning. Friday night's case, the 13th. Do it. Swing and a miss, strike 3. The A's have taken the final 3 games of this series as Ryan Madsen closes it out with a 1-2-3 ninth. And Oakland wins its 3rd straight 1-run game. Today the final score 3-2.
Frustrating ball game. Yeah, Blake Snell gave up a couple runs early, settled in, settled down, threw the ball well, gave his team a chance to win, kept them in the game. Logan Forsythe jumps Ryan Dole on a 2-1 heater to tie it, and it didn't last very long.
Just 2 batters later, Billy Butler right there would break the tie with a home run against Erasmo Ramirez, and that is the difference today. So the A's take 3 out of 4. The Rays are now 3